We will also reintroduce a rent control exemption that will apply to new rental units in order to increase housing supply across the province. To be clear, rent control will remain in place for existing tenants.
Well, that was one of the bombshell announcements included in today's economic statement. The PC government announcing that they will introduce rental control exemptions to new rental units. They say it'll help increase the housing supply by creating incentive for developers to create more units. Now, there's already been criticism about the existing rent controls that were introduced by the previous Premier, Kathleen Wynne, and that those aren't strong enough because they contain too many loopholes for landlords to get around. As you can imagine, the head of the Federation of Metro Tenants Association wasn't too pleased to hear about today's announcement.
The rental market right now is a nightmare. You talk to people about it. People are getting illegally evicted en masse. It's impossible to find a place. It takes you months to find something, and it's nowhere near as affordable as it used to be. So it's really, really difficult for tenants in Toronto right now. The silver lining for the last year is that every rental unit had rent control. So you knew that when you got in, you would at least have some stability. This basically throws all that out the window.
Yeah. Are you concerned about just how much rent is going to skyrocket?
Rent's already skyrocketing, and it's because we're not under the Quebec system that we were under 3 decades ago. The Quebec system, it caps how much rents can raise between renters, and so what that means practically is right now you can find a 2-bedroom in Montreal for $800. You have an easier time finding a unicorn in Toronto than a 2-bedroom unit for $800 right now, and that's because we don't have enough rent control.
Now, there was some ambiguity in the wording of the announcement. We wanted to get clarification from Vic Fedeli about what exactly they mean when they say new units are included from, or excluded rather, from rent controls. Here is how that went.
When you say rent control will be eliminated for new buildings, if I construct a new build in my house and want to rent it out, will that be included?
Well, again, you're going to need to look at the bill when it comes out, but I can tell you what we mean by a new build is quite simply a new build. So to be very, very clear, existing buildings continue to have their rent controlled. This is for new builds, and I would expect that to be buildings that are started fresh.
The rental in my basement, and that's new, that won't be included.
We'll have to look. I'll have to get somebody to get back to you specifically on that one.
Now, one of the other announcements that we got reaction from today was the news that Ontario's child advocate position would be eliminated, his duties absorbed by the Ombudsman's office, and that is raising some alarms. One child youth lawyer called it devastating. The Children's Aid Society also concerned that independent body is also responsible for investigating complaints about Children's Aid, and we should note that the current child advocate in Ontario has put out a statement saying that he only learned news of the closing of his office through media reports.